So, there are two things to report from the session just now, I feel. The first is to do with equipment, and the second to do with scores and stuff like that. So, the equipment situation is that prior to this week, I wasn't aware that my Street Cube busking amplifier, this is going to sound silly because it's, of course, designed for busking, but I wasn't aware that it could take an XLR for a microphone. Of course it can. It's designed for busking, but the input is not the likes of which I've ever seen before. It looks like a jack input, except it's got three tiny little holes around it. Turns out that's for an XLR. Great news, because when I went to the shop to buy lots of cables to convert my connection, turned out that was unnecessary. And as it was explained to me, I just needed to put a normal XLR in, which I already owned, but I did upgrade microphone. So I bought an SM58 for the purposes of this, and I'm very pleased. It made an excellent sound and was a million miles better than trying to do vocals with a 57, which I've done in the past. Anyway, that's that. That's great news. So with that thing as battery powered as well, I'm pleased with this. Secondly, the score situation and stuff. This session was contrasted to the one that took place exactly a week ago, in that I didn't have any score or way of knowing exactly what was going on everyone's parts at the same time. Now, I thought I would get away with this because the music it's only a trio, but I prescribed so much stuff to do with how we change from section to section, where stabs and pushes are, although less so stabs and pushes. But anyway, the prescription of everything was such that we still stumbled whenever I couldn't answer a question about what was happening or perform it correctly myself, because if one is leading the music, I think you've either got to have it from memory to such an extent that you can do it upside down, or you need to be reading something that's accurate. So easily enough, I could share the chart with the person sitting next to me, Kieran, who did a great job on the cajon. It's just not quite ideal because last week was so smooth in that no one had to stand up, walk around, get confused over any questions. They could be answered like really quickly because I had everyone's charts, a small version of everyone's chart in front of me. I think it worked quite well. Those are the things that I think are worth talking about here. I'm pleased with the overall sound. The trumpets. I'm very happy with the choice of the instrument, the trumpet, on these particular songs. The Elton John song, which starts the medley, matches the slightly darker vibe that I had last week as well. I like that especially, definitely. There's something about the brass solo instrument in a minor key with an acoustic guitar going on. I really dig that. That's the strongest stuff. Those are the two things to report. Brilliant, and I intend to upload the video of our performance. I've made small alterations to the audio. Firstly, it was done with a Zoom H1 pointing directly at us. Advantage of this was that the trumpet was actually further left in the field because the Zoom is stereo, two mics crossing each other. This meant that I actually had a little bit of split for mixing, so the rhythm section was slightly right and the trumpet was slightly left. Now this is useful because at certain points the trumpet was much louder in the mix. It was very bright when it gets into the high register. I had a bit of control over that. I didn't, because it's just a quick upload, I didn't dwell on it too much. But I brought the overall level on the left-hand side down a bit to match. Added a tiny bit of reverb because that's a nice thing to do. So the sound is faithfully recorded in my front room, but then a tiny bit of ambience has been added. What else did I do? They EQ'd the brightness of the left side up for the trumpet and the bass frequencies up on the right hand side. Now that means the cajon kick especially overall, I'm quite happy with the balance. The difference between the audio at the beginning and the end is very pleasing. That's probably enough for now. I'll catch you later.